I pushed the button. Welcome to 0 to 60. I'm Bree. That's Matt. He's yelling at me.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Another episode. Bree Maestas, Matt McChesney. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, man. 0 to 60 is going to kick ass this morning.
Really? You're
Yes.
that confident in it?
I know these things.
You're about as confident as we were about taking the under in last night's Thursday night football game.
No shit.
10-9 at halftime. Probably the worst Thursday night primetime matchup in recent memory. I don't ever want to see those two teams face off again.
Ever. Even if they're both good, I don't ever want to see them play each other.
Put them in the 11 a.m. slot.
I mean, that was terrible. And there's good NFL games this weekend, too, that they could have slotted there. And Jacksonville, the 49ers play, Houston and the Bengals play. Like, there's some good games. And they gave us that stinker. That was terrible. The Browns, wow, that's how that they look like the Browns. The Bears uniforms were terrible.
What's wrong with the orange?
There's nothing. It's just a bad look. That looks like the Browns with a C on their helmet. And then, I mean, Carolina is a clown show of a team right now. They are in trouble. Look, they would have the number one pick if they didn't trade Chicago. So Chicago double dipped last night. They got a dub and beating Carolina pretty much ensures that they're going to have the number one pick overall too. So
you called it yesterday, and I wager that half of the Bears fandom wasn't even paying attention to watch it all happen. Defenses played a huge part in this, special teams as well. At the end of the day, the Bears defense won out. It was decisive, 16-13. Not a great matchup. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but it could have been worse. It wasn't. I want to get into our sponsor real quick. 0 to 60 is sponsored by Bet Online. The last of the major pro sports leagues are off and rolling, and college basketball is ready to go as well. Bet Online remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contests. The NFL, college football, UFC, hockey, they're all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action, along with every sport, is available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head on over to BetOnline today and remember to use our promo code, that's BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. You already mentioned it, but Bryce Young struggled. Accuracy continues to be a concern. I know his build continues to be a concern. I think that he'll eventually start to pick up some momentum there, gain the skills necessary to keep up with the NFL speed. But what type of worry do you have about a quarterback who continues to show progression issues? This early in his career, I understand that it's understandable, but he's not going to get better playing at the rate that he is.
Look, I think that C.J. Stroud is that guy, and he was the second pick. He's way bigger. He's more physical. He's got a bigger arm. Carolina fell in love with Bryce Young, and he's small. He's not a very big frame guy. He seems like he's got a little bit of frat boy in him to me, and he's just inherited an awful football team. I mean, they don't really have a lot. And they do. I mean, Adam Thielen's a good player, and Laviska Shenault's a good player, or Shenault. But if he can't figure out how to read progression, I thought that's what put him as the number one pick, was the fact that he could. And he was a pro-style quarterback in Nick Saban's system. And his progression reads were so good, and he was so good at getting the ball out and timing routes and things of that nature. That's why he went number one. So if he's struggling like he is, which he is, and Frank Reich can't figure him out, and he's a quarterback guru, don't be surprised if Carolina finds a way to take a quarterback high. I mean, they could Josh Rosen his ass if they wanted to and just draft him in the first round, spend the money, and then draft another quarterback in the first round like they did with Kyler Murray in Arizona. So you better pick it up, man, because the NFL, as everyone knows, means not for long.
Not for long. And high-powered key offensive players DJ Moore and Adam Thielen were quiet. Moore with 5 catches for 58 yards. Thielen Couldn't catch break either. 6 receptions for 42 yards. A lot of that goes on the quarterback in a quarterback-driven league. If you don't have the guy throwing the ball, your big star offensive weapons are going to struggle as well. It was a boring endeavor. I love defense, but I need strong defenses against strong offenses because that's fun. This was underwhelming. Not a fan of it. And that takes us to our next primetime game that I want to get into, and that's obviously the Broncos versus the Bills. It's time for Monday Night Football. It's time for primetime. And usually when we're talking about the Denver Broncos playing in primetime, we're all a little bit hesitant to buy in, and honestly, we're a little worried to get to Monday night. But the Broncos, still at 3-5, have a possibility to make a case for the playoffs. And saying that out loud sounds like copium. And it's not, because the Bills are coming off a 24-18 road loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Josh Allen went 26 of 38 for 258 yards with a touchdown and an interception. Nothing good, nothing great. He continues to be a roller coaster, and the Broncos have some momentum here. They came off one of the biggest wins in recent memory. Josh Allen was
8 years.
8 years. 8 years of just honestly what the fuck. So you've got Josh Allen, who was the leading rusher with 8 carries for 44 yards against Cincinnati. If he's the largest occupier of the rock against the Broncos on Monday, I see this improving defense having a really great shot of making a very convincing win over the Bills in Buffalo. I know it sounds crazy. The Broncos haven't won in Buffalo in a long time. I know I sound like a crazy member of Broncos country, but I'm usually a little bit hesitant to be even at any turn optimistic about what we're about to see. The spread, 7.5 for the Bills.
That's crazy.
The Bills are obviously the favorites here. You've got the Broncos at plus 280. And then the over-under is 46.5. I could see this being a shootout in where Russell Wilson's able to maintain some of his consistency from the prior game. He had 3 touchdowns against Kansas City. Matt, I know I'm talking crazy. Walk me off the ledge.
I can't. I mean, plus 280 and plus 7.5. I might take both of those numbers. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos win the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they play really well. They're not losing by more than a touchdown. Buffalo is not a dominant football team offensively anymore. They rely only on Josh Allen, and we have the guys in the secondary to lock down Diggs and Davis. Kincaid, they're fantastic tight end. Knox, we don't know if he's going to play, but Singleton and Jewell, and the outstanding nickel play that we've had recently, they're going to be able to lock his ass down too. And now we have pass rushers, and they are struggling protecting Josh Allen. So when they went to Cincinnati, he had a lot of attempts, but they're throw, catch the ball, rally, and tackle. Throw, catch the ball, rally, and tackle. And that's what Denver does well. So that's like low-lying fruit right there if you're talking about betting. So if you're on Bet Online, that plus 280, that's a hell of a number right there. I think the Broncos win in Orchard Park, and we'll break down how they win on Monday. And we'll also talk to Steve Atwater about this today when we have him on the 2 o'clock show, the great Hall of Famer. But I think this is an opportunity for Denver just not only to win another game, but beat another playoff team. You just beat the number 1 seed who went to Frankfurt and mopped up Miami on the bye week. So, you had an opportunity to watch Buffalo struggle in Cincinnati. They're going to try and get right going back to Orchard Park. This is a get-right game for them. So all their eggs are going to be in this basket. They can't afford to lose this game chasing the Dolphins after the Dolphins lost. So, Buffalo didn't make up any ground losing at Cincinnati. And if they let Denver come in and win in Orchard Park, I can't remember the last time Denver won there, but it's been a long time.
What did you say about fruit?
Low-lying.
Low-lying fruit in Orchard Park? I believe
Playing on words. You like that?
No, because it's low-hanging fruit,
Matt. It's low-lying.
All right. Buffalo's shortcomings were highlighted in Cincinnati, and the Bills' defense is banged up. I don't think there's any offensive playmakers outside of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Do you agree or disagree?
Gabe Davis is a stud, but again, he's big-bodied, and you can get into his chest and press him, and he's a huge home run threat, so you got to play over the top. Diggs is going to be your possession guy getting first downs. So as long as they play over the top coverage and they play the way they've been playing in VJ's system, I think it's going to make life living hell for Buffalo. Honestly, Denver's defense is nice.
Awesome. I'm carrying into that show. I'm carrying that into my show later because I think that's an important point to make. We'll move off the NFL. We're going to go into some college football action because it's upset weekend alert. 4 ranked matchups headline this weekend's college football slate with 23 of the college football playoffs top 25 in action. Overall, let's roll with Michigan, Penn State. Number 3, Michigan will face number 10, Penn State in a season-defining test. Wolverines' first ranked matchup, which is crazy to say. They've had a perfect season on the field. Do you think they make it an easy dub against Penn State, or do you hope for it?
Well, I think this is my 6-0 equipment body bag game. And every week we're going to give you one on Friday. And you see the link right there. Go check it out, 60equipment.com. But the body bags, Drake Nugent is a center for Michigan, and he's the best in the country, in my opinion. He'll be on the show next Thursday in the afternoon to talk about everything leading into Ohio State week. I think Michigan is going to beat the absolute shit out of Penn State, especially after Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator, came out and essentially mocked the situation and made fun of them and started talking about stealing signs essentially on social media. So when, this is a huge part of the CU Arizona game this week we'll get into, but fuel on the fire, especially in college, that's what this is all about. So it's I think that Michigan knows how important Penn State and Ohio State are. If they don't win both of these games, they're not going to be able to do what they want to do. And look, it's Michigan against everybody. I've seen it multiple times online today. All the coaches are posting it. They've got T-shirts made. I think that the whole scandal and sign stealing thing is kind of ridiculous because you still have to play the game, although it is cheating. At the same time, though, I don't think that this affects Michigan negatively, even if they suspend Harbaugh. I think it rallies them together, and they're already really good. It's not like you can't look at that roster and see 5 professional offensive linemen, and the tight end's a pro, and the quarterback we'll see, but both the running backs are pros, and the receivers are pros, and the defensive linemen are pros. Like, that's why they're winning. I find that the whole sign stealing thing almost disrespectful to the players that are on the field that are really good. So Penn State's a good team. Happy Valley will be pumping, but at the end of the game, it's going to be Sad Valley quick.
Obviously, it's been sort of a distraction for Michigan as more information continues to come out. But now I'm wondering, you just said it, it's possibly not a distraction anymore. It's a motivator. Has the rest of the college football entity kind of fucked up here and given them the field of the fire?
Well, look, you don't want to just motivate a badass for no reason. Like, you don't talk shit to Lennox Lewis. You don't talk shit to Mike Tyson. You don't walk in and start popping off to Coach Prime. Like, Michigan is a back-to-back playoff team, back-to-back Big Ten champs, back-to-back Ohio State wins. They've won the Joe Moore Award twice. That's never happened before. That's the offensive line award. That you can't steal signs and then win the Joe Moore Award twice and push people around the way they did physically. Now, all that said, I'm not a Michigan apologist, although I do have a lot of guys there, and I do want to see them win, and I am pulling for them. I just think they're better, and now you've just woken up the bully. Like, if you want to play the nice guy game with Michigan, they'll play nice, and they'll just beat the hell out of you. But if you want to motivate them and you want to make it personal and poke the bear, as a bear, as a big grizzly, I think it's really stupid. I think it's dumb as fuck. And Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator, now your ass now you have to get your 11 or 15, how many guys you rotate, to all play to that standard. It's the same thing we're going to talk about with the Arizona thing and CU. Like, you're not just talking about yourself. This is a team game. This isn't an individual sport where you can just be a fighter, talk shit, and back it up on your own. You got to get all 11 guys on defense, the whole offense, everybody on the same wavelength from a shit talking perspective, and not everybody is as comfortable spouting off as some people are. Like, people get really offended at times when I run my mouth, and I get off on it. I love this shit. So it's different. That's all I'm saying.
It is different. We'll move on. Tennessee versus number 14, Missouri. I think Tennessee's going to run the ball all over Missouri.
Yeah.
They have the best rushing offense in the Power 5, 227 yards per game. UT's rushed for at least 228 yards in every game except for 2 of them. They rushed for 100 yards at Florida and 133 at Alabama. But Missouri has the number 5 ranked rushing defense in the SEC. But it's been given up a ton of yards this season at different times. I think the key to this game is going to be who's better matched up against the run game. But how do you feel about Tennessee versus Missouri?
Look, this is 14 against 16. It's in Columbia. That's a hard place to go play. Missouri had, a great start to the season. This stretch going to Georgia last week, Tennessee this week, this is the meat of the schedule. So if there's a red letter game in Missouri, it was Georgia last week and Tennessee this week, and they got to get 1 or 2. So I could see Missouri winning, but at the same time, I think Tennessee is actually pretty damn good. And they've lost 2 games. They lost to Florida, which was a rivalry game. Florida just beat them up. They caught them on a bad night, kind of. And then I think that if they would have played Alabama in Knoxville, they probably would have won. So I'm going to take Tennessee on the road, but I would not be surprised at all if Missouri upsets them. That Cook player at quarterback is a stud. So they've really built something in Columbia, and that's a good thing because for a lot of years, Missouri was just walked on in the SEC East.
Matt, you're an agent of chaos. You like to see the upsets. Yes. You like it when things go completely against and not according to plan.
I want like 10 one-loss teams.
All right. Well, how about Georgia versus Ole Miss? Ole Miss hasn't won a game against Georgia in a while. They don't necessarily play each other that long, but it's a long-standing, not even rivalry. It's just a streak, and it's a little bit weird. But Georgia and Ole Miss are both among the top 15 nationally in scoring. Bulldogs average 39.3 points per game, and the Rebels 38.8. Georgia is also the 7th nationally in scoring defense and allowing just 15.4 points per game. This could make it really tough for Ole Miss once again, but I think their coach is ready for the challenge.
Yeah, look, Ole Miss is a really good football team. They are super fast. They are physical as hell. I love Lane Kiffin as a coach. I hated him when I was younger. I just didn't understand it. But he's been through the rigors of, learning how to check his ego and be a good dude and, coach his ass off. And he's a family man. I dig Lane Kiffin. Now, he's taking some heat this week. And the mental health thing with his defensive lineman, and that's a different conversation for a different day. But I will say this. After going to Athens, Lane Kiffin's going to need a mental health day. So, I think Ole Miss is going to walk into the dog pound down there, and it's on. Julia Wilder, my boy Sam Wilder's wife, Aunt Gigi, she's a dog. So we're calling you out, Aunt Gigi, go Dogs. And I know she's going down there for her birthday with all of her girlfriends. They go down every year, and this is their game. We went down to Sanford for my boy Andrew's bachelor party years ago. And it's the first and only time I've ever been to Georgia. And they were playing Mississippi State. We're in the top row. It was sold out to the brim. Everybody's in their seats at the national anthem. The place is fucking rocking. It was crazy. It's cut into the ground, so it sinks in, so you walk up to it and you can look into the bowl. Mm-hmm. And the first play of the game, they ran a flea flicker for a touchdown over Mississippi State's head. And I was sitting there God damn, this place is special. And there's a reason they haven't lost in 2 years. And they're kind of just lying under the radar. People don't know much about Georgia, but they are really fast, mean, and they are sideline to sideline between the hedges down there. And Kirby Smart is as bad as they get. And, Chudera Uzodiribe is their defensive end coach, and he's a great buff. Wore 96 for CU. Went to the league, didn't work out, went into coaching, and he is one of the best developers of talent at the outside linebacker defensive end position. It's not surprising that they're leading the country in sacks, that they have so many predators at the defensive line because he's out there coaching his ass off and getting them right. So I think Georgia is going to eat Ole Miss alive. And this is the other thing. I really dislike Ole Miss because every time I look at their mascot, and I know this is going to piss people off, they're the Ole Miss Confederates still, and it really pisses me off. And I think they need to really look at that. I can't believe they don't.
I I didn't know this is the direction we were going. I'm completely off I'm just going to
go Georgia.
Tangent over. I got the University of Miami at FSU.
It's been a weird 2 days.
I mean, man.
Let's talk about the parking service at CU.
No!
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Leave
Look,
Marv alone.
No, Marv's a bad
He's
dude.
just doing his
It's a
own.
racket.
He's doing his job.
It's a mob boss.
All right,
racket.
I'm going to get into this because you freaking pushed me. The other day I said something about colleges, and I'm not going to name names, charging for parking for kids who are going there to learn and play. And at the end of the day, that's the biggest racket I've ever heard. And somebody called me uneducated because he said that colleges need to make money, and I about lost my fucking mind.
They print money.
They are a legitimate. I'm not going to get into it. I could get in trouble.
It's the biggest racket on earth. College is the biggest scam ever.
Let's not even just mention college, but paying for parking where you work or go to school is freaking ridiculous. Yeah. And so the guy that called me uneducated, I thank you, I guess, for proving my point.
Say it to her. I bet you beat your ass. She's got leverage, dog. I'm dropping people at White Zombie. Dropping in the mosh pit. I've
had training.
These are facts, right?
Yeah.
She's a fucking knee bender. If you would talk some shit, not to that redhead, homie.
I'm a lot stronger.
You're fucking crazy,
than
son. Got your damn cotton picking mind.
Wow, Matt, you got guys in Florida.
You're damn straight.
This
game. I love this game. This is old school.
Yeah.
This is like growing up as a kid. And there were always games as a kid because we didn't have 900 channels back in the day, right? Because I'm 42, so
yikes.
Fuck, old, right? So I'm 42, and back in the day, the every year when I got to see Florida State and Miami play, I was glued to the fucking TV. And I know that Miami's not ranked and they're 6-3, and Florida State, I am very partial to Florida State this year specifically. You know, I love Mike Norvell. He's a great coach. I've loved him since he was at Arizona State. He's always been a great man and very receptive. And then Casey Roddick, number 70, who played for CU for years, is one of my guys, and he's a proud Dungeon family. And we placed him down at Florida State this year, and he is balling out. And has a high grade in the NFL draft. He's going to be coming back here to train. So I'm extremely motivated to see Michigan and Florida State play in the national title. And I'm not going to sit here and pull punches like I'm not. Because if Drake is starting at center and Casey's starting at guard, my big ass is going to be their son with a lanyard on the sideline. Like, oh my God, out there crying. Like, oh, yeah. Super happy coach guy. So I think this game is going to be extremely close. I don't know what the line is on Bet Online, but I know that whatever it is, I might take the points if I know Miami's an underdog. What is it? Do you know?
I don't know what it is. I haven't pulled it up.
Look,
Field is a producer.
It's also my fault for not doing the research because I don't really prepare for anything. But I'll say this. I wouldn't be surprised if they're 10.5-point underdogs, and I would take that shit. I think Mario Cristobal's team is going to play super hard. This is their Super Bowl. They win this game, they're back ranked. They fuck up Florida State's opportunity to play for the Natty because if anybody in the ACC loses, you're not getting into the playoff this year, especially with all the one-loss teams that are going to be sitting there at your door. So if you're Washington, who's the next game, or you're Florida State, you're 4-5, those are extremely advantageous positions to get upset, and you are playing good teams that do not like you this weekend. So the U and Florida State is an old school just brawl. It used to be, and I think it still is to a point, when they used to play in the Orange Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the University of Miami played in the Orange Bowl, this game, every game really was just an absolute dogfight. And I played at Florida State. That place is crazy. It is going to be rocking. Doak Campbell, I'll tell you a little story about this. So we play at Doak Campbell, right? And we're running a little long today. Actually, not really. We're only 23 minutes. Here we roll. So we're at Doak Campbell in 03, okay? And it was hot, right? But it rained the whole day before we got there, and it was like kind of cold, and everybody's in hoodies. The next day, we walk out of to go to breakfast at 6:30 in the morning. It is 104 degrees. And there are crocodiles and gators and shit running around the property. And all of the dudes from Colorado are like, holy God, it's hot. So we have a 12:30, 1 o'clock kickoff. And we were really competitive in the first half. It was 16-9 at halftime. Things were going well. Clack got knocked out in the third quarter. Eric Greenberg had to go in. Like, Cameron Wembley was a great defensive end, was eating our offensive line alive. Darnell Dockett, a great defensive lineman, was eating the guards alive. They had, like, first-round tackle, Alec Barron. He was really good. Greg Jones. So before the game, my dumbass and, like, Clyde Sorrell and Quinn and, Sam and everybody were like, yeah, let's go jump on the Seminole. That was not smart. We went and jumped on the Seminole. They got real pissed off. It was the only time in the history of doing that, and we did it to fucking everyone because we have zero respect for you. Fuck you. We went and jumped on the Seminole, and we turned around, and the entire Florida State team was right there ready to fight. And it was like, oh, shit. And we went in at halftime. Everybody's getting IV'd. We're like trying to do all these game plans. We walked out, and it was no bullshit, 112 degrees on the field. You could see the steam coming off the ground, and they beat us 42-9. They beat the shit out of us. So I'm saying, you walk into Doak Campbell and you're not ready to play and match that intensity, they will fuck you up.
Learned a lesson that day, didn't
Sure
you?
did. Learned that lesson real quick, that if you wag your lips, you better back it up with your teeth, and we got them knocked out that day.
Very nice. Jamil Mallory over on YouTube says, love the channel from a new sub. Welcome, Jamil. We appreciate you here.
Love you, bro. Kick ass.
We'll be back at 2 p.m. Matt's got Steve Atwater on the show, and then we'll be back on Monday, per usual, for 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The splits. Trigger warning, more parking talk, because that's exactly what I fucking wanted to do today.
Yes.
I parked at Burger King across from the campus for 4 years for free. My crap car probably tricked them into thinking it was an employee.
Hey, that's a good fucking idea, bro. We still have to walk all over campus. The problem is the campus, and we're lazy. I don't think you understand just how lazy athletes are. Like, athletes are super fucking lazy.
You work out for 6 hours a day.
And then I don't want to walk all over campus
you
after practice and
conserve
shit.
your
It
fuel.
sucks.
You're in your freaking Adidas flip-floppies trying to get back out of practice after your feet hurt. Like, no, you don't want to have to.
I don't want to do it.
You don't want to, and you shouldn't have to.
I
It's
agree.
honestly ridiculous. But no more
no,
parking talk.
Marv.
I swear to
Fucking Marv, B.
Yo. Let Marv do his job.
I'm going to go find him. No,
He's just
I
being
was
told
driving
what
in
to do.
Boulder the other day,
Oh.
and I pulled up next to a Marv tow truck, and I rolled down my window, and he rolled down his window, and I said, hey, and he goes, yeah, and I go, not you, and just took off. And if you don't know anything about that, then that sucks. It's just an inside joke. Sorry. All right, next game.
No, I'm running through. Quit trying to dictate. Do you drive this program?
Nope.
Then what are you doing?
I'm navigating.
No.
I'm on fucking side seat driving.
Put your Google Maps away. Sit there and let me do my job.
Hey, you want to see something really cool?
Goon
Watch.
Production says you were funny as fuck on JB's show this morning.
This morning was kick ass.
Brady B said, Matt, you're the man. Go Buffs.
Skull Buffs is right. Did you see the other one at the top about Thursday Night Football? The Thursday Night Football game was the Chicago backhand of the weekend. Oh, shit! Do you know what the Chicago backhand is?
We're not doing this today. We're not doing this today.
Fucking awesome.
We're not doing this today.
Oh, I love it. All right.
I'm just waiting for Buffs people to get in here. C. Moses said Miami is getting 14. I assume you mean 14 points. So 14 and a half looks like the line for FSU. Miami. 50 is the over-under.
I would take that. I don't know if I...
And Miami is plus 455.
Well, I don't think Miami will win.
No.
But they're 6-3, and one of those losses was the Georgia Tech fumble, which was just a total, like, miscalculation, and they shouldn't have ran the ball. It was like when CU went for it, at halftime. They just gave it up. Mm-hmm. So they should still be ranked, and that's a huge 14 points. I'd be taking Miami on that one, bro. They're not going to lose by more than 14.
Yeah, take Miami, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, dog.
All right, let's talk about CU. Come on.
Oh,
it'll be fun.
All right, we'll get into CU.
Look, Utah-Washington is going to be a great game. Watch it. That's going to be the hard-hitting game of the weekend. Utah beats Washington. Damn it.
Utah beats Washington. They're off of a lot of,
And Eric Weddle has a jumping jack contest in his house because he's super pumped because they're going to win tonight. Go get him wed. His high school squad down in San Diego. And Utah's going to beat Washington. That sucks because then the Pac-12 is going to be out of the playoff, but whatever.
Oh, no. Someone's done it.
Yep.
Trigger warning is a new subscriber as well. Welcome back. We appreciate you.
Hey, new subscriber.
We appreciate all of you. Tony Clifton has done it. He said the magic word of the day.
What is it?
Upshaw says
yes!
hi.
Yes.
All right, let's
Now
talk
we can
about
talk
this.
So we got 10 minutes to talk about this.
You're going to take 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
We
have 10 minutes.
I don't put anything past
We could not go for 10 minutes, but we have 10 minutes.
Literally never see. Okay,
yeah.
We're jumping into it. This video, I've heard your thoughts. I've seen your thoughts. You had some thoughts on the DNVR Buff show yesterday because you got to live react to this video.
Yes.
Arizona transfer Upshaw went from Michigan to Colorado to Arizona, and he posted a very infamous clip of Mike Tyson saying some really fucked up things. And I'll let you paint the picture here because you tell the story so well. But Upshaw tags Shedeur Sanders. And I have 0 words, but I know you do. Matt, take the wheel.
Shit. Okay, so Upshaw's dumbass tags Mike Tyson saying that he's going to kill somebody and make him his girlfriend. I'm going to make you my girlfriend. And then tags Shedeur Sanders in the bottom of it and writes, and fucking figure this out, he writes, "Get your mind right Saturday, lil boy." L-I-L, like little Jordan Humphrey, lil boy. Exclamation, and tag Shedeur. Holy shit! This guy's good too. He's got 7.5 sacks. He leads Arizona. He's a bad man. He's probably an NFL football player. Look, man, I as a defensive lineman, I dig this because he's talking shit, and I am all about that. As an offensive lineman, I don't know if I've ever been more motivated as like a fan or a coach or whatever, because we're going to the game. I'm not going to be on the field. Like, that's not my role, but somebody in pads that plays offensive line or tight end for Colorado, man, this dude is a straight target. Everybody's number 11. Like, the entire Arizona roster needs to be looked at as every single one of them has Upshaw on the back of their name. And he just disrespected your quarterback. He disrespected Deion's son. He disrespected Shiloh's brother. And he disrespected, Grandma Prime's grandson. So they're talking shit about someone's grandson. That's the way you got to look at this. And to call him low boy and, like, that, number one, is fucked up. You don't call a man a boy. And this is exactly what Colorado needed.
Matt, when a player, your teammate, says something, runs their mouth, is there a thought process of like, what the fuck, man? Now we have to like buy into what you're saying?
Yes.
Like, you are speaking for the rest of your team when you pull stuff like that. And I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know if it's a mindset thing, but I think there's a certain set of people who would never think to do that because they know they're putting their teammates in a position. And then you've got the age of social media, I think, that brings those things out of people. They want to go viral with a clip. They want to show people what their worth is through online engagement. To me, this is kind of part of that, right? Like, it's shit talking. It's offensive. And he got exactly what he wanted. What is that?
I didn't mean to hit that, but I can't torque them cheeks.
My hands are up here.
Now, look, I will say this. If you write checks as an individual athlete, if you're a boxer or a fighter, and you write a check with your mouth, you can just go out there and back it up by yourself. That's cool. Like my boy Brandon Schaub, who was on the show at the beginning of the week and does, obviously the Schaub show and is a big timer. He's a fullback as a football player, but a fighter and a great one. And, he even said on Monday and you can go back and listen to this on YouTube, obviously, and subscribe, pound the like button. But he distinctly said, like, I'd rather fight because I can control what's happening, right? I can control how I get hit. I can control how I hit. Football, like, the guy you have to go get is the guy you have to go get. Now, that said, not everybody that plays for Arizona is Upshaw. Upshaw is an NFL defensive end who's got 7.5 sacks. So now the other 10 guys that play for Arizona on defense and the other 4 that rotate or 5, whatever, and all 11 on offense and the whole coaching staff have to back this shit up. Now you all have to go be as good as Upshaw Saturday because everybody on Colorado's roster and everyone in the entire stadium is going to feed off of this. And if I know one thing about the Colorado Buffaloes this year is if you spite them, talk shit, they hear everything. I know. They get mad at me because I'm opinionated and I put stuff out there. I know how this works. I'm not stupid. Like, you put this shit out as an opponent and now you're tagging a quarterback who does nothing but play off of, like, If he's behind, he plays better. If you spite him, he plays better. If you hit him, he plays better. He never gets knocked out. He's taken painkiller injections to play, which is a whole nother story for a whole nother day. And he's just an overall bad motherfucker. And you do this, you run your mouth like this, and you were there. So me, as an offensive lineman, I would walk out and immediately look at him and say, this is going to be the longest fucking day of your life. We are going to do everything humanly possible to eviscerate your ass today. And Mama's meatloaf last night was mwah. I'd find out her name, his sister's name. I would just start talking. I wouldn't even wear a mouthpiece in the game just to talk shit. And I would never stop until the refs flagged me. I would hit him late. I would hit him early. At every single opportunity you get, put multiple offensive linemen and fullbacks and people in his face and talk shit. Find them before the game. Make this as uncomfortable as humanly possible on the road for Arizona. And that goes for the fans, everyone in Folsom, all the coaches, everybody. We're going to the game. Everybody's going to the game. Get your ass there and make it super uncomfortable for not only the Arizona fans, because they're supporting this bullshit, but also him. Like Upshaw, when you write checks like this, bro, and grown men are around you, and you've got to go play a guy who can actually do it, it's different when you're writing a check against a guy who can't do it. You just woke up a fucking monster. Period. The University of Colorado feeds off of shit like this. Everybody that's talked junk to them this year, from TCU to Nebraska to CSU, was actually pretty cool. They didn't really do anything. But still, everybody that talks shit gets beat. Everyone. I mean, other than Oregon. And they're just way better than us. So the other games were calm. Oregon State was calm. Stanford was calm. They weren't shit talking. They were just football games. They weren't really motivated. They didn't play very well. They played down. UCLA didn't say anything. Defense played well, but they played down. Now, you just motivated the entire goddamn team, Demi. Thank you. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs. We'll end on that note, but Tavon Cooper did ask a question, and I know you have the answer. Did you talk to Savion? Is it going to handle Homie?
Yep.
All right. Good with the yep. We'll get out of here. Matt's back at 2 p.m. with Hall of Famer Steve Atwater. Don't miss the show. Set your notifications. Broadcast is going to get scheduled here soon. And don't miss it because Steve's an awesome guy. Matt's all right. So you want to tune in. We'll be back on Monday at 10 a.m. and I'll probably be on the show. I don't know. See what happens. I'm poking the bear over here. I got to get out. Bye.